What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 1 playoff match, playoffs round 1 match against Jed and the Adelaide Redraks, my good friend Jed. Um, his team consists of Hydreigon, Mamoswine, Araquid, Hitmonlee, Electrode, Celesteela, Whimsicott, Alolan Marowak, Espeon, Dodrio, and Golbat. I definitely forgot to introduce what league this is for. This is for DnD Season 6. Or Dunsparce System Dragonites, and this is Playoffs Round 1. So, this is double elimination playoffs in the Championship League, trying to promote into the Premiership League. So, I was the number 2 seed in the Johto Conference, and I'm playing Jed, the number 3 seed in the Johto Conference. We did play Jed way back in Week 4. That was a long time ago. Way back in January, which it was almost a little bit more than 2 months ago that we played Jed. He brought against me last time. He brought, if I can go to Week 4. Sorry, my own document's like lagging to hell on me here. He brought Mamoswine, Hitmonlee, Celesteela, Espeon, Dodrio, and Golbat. I've since changed my team. I dropped Cryogonal for Swellow and Steelix for Floatzel. So my team is a lot more Electrode weak, and I was expecting Electrode to come. This time I was not expecting Hitmonlee to come. I don't think Hitmonlee has a very good match against my team anymore after those drops. I think it did better when Steelix and Cryogonal was on the team, and that Floatzel and Swellow handle it a lot better than I had before. Again, this time I was not expecting Whimsicott or Alolan Marowak to come. I think they're both weird-ish picks. I don't think that Whimsicott does very well against my team in general. It's an okay Mega Medicham check, kind of. It's an okay Zygarde. It's a good Zygarde 10% check, actually. That's probably why he brought it, to cover Celesteela, I guess. It's an okay Primeape check. It's an okay Floatzel check too, but it kind of just loses to Scolipede, Togekiss, Zapdos potentially, Ferrothorn. So I was very surprised and Chandelure and Swellow actually, so I was kind of surprised to see the Whimsicott. Alolan Marowak I think falls into the same sort of boat where it can stop some of my Mons, and it can like offensively threaten something like a Medicham if I can't OHKO this thing, then it can offensively threaten it and kill, but I was definitely expecting Celesteela. He brought like a very interesting trapping Celesteela for my Ferrothorn last time, and I think he might change it up a little bit, potentially. I know he's got a lot of options on his team to deal with Ferrothorn. He's got enough options on his team to deal with Ferrothorn, I think. I don't think Ferrothorn gives his team too many problems, although it would be nice if I even had Ferrothorn on the screen here to show that off, but as you can see, he brought Mamoswine, Electrode, Celesteela, Whimsicott, Alolan Marowak, and Espeon. I'm really happy to not see the Dodrio. Dodrio was a problem last time, and I'm really happy to not see the Golbat, even though I pressured the Golbat super well last time. He brought 2 electric resists, a guaranteed electric immunity, and potentially another guaranteed electric immunity in Marowak. So my Zapdos isn't looking that fantastic, like offensively. And I think that's why he changed it, because Dodrio and Golbat were did he bring Dodrio? Yeah, he did. Dodrio and Golbat were kind of just like stymied by Zapdos, and he had a big problem playing against Zapdos last time because his team's Araquanid, Golbat, Dodrio, Celesteela, like that's a lot of electric weaknesses that he can't necessarily cover in the same game, so I'm not sure. Hydreigon, surprised not to see that. Araquanid, surprised not to see that, although maybe I shouldn't be because he didn't bring either of them against me last time. Maybe I'm just overlooking something and they don't have a great matchup against my team. But I kind of just prep for everything anyway, so I was expecting them to come. Hitmonlee, again, I wasn't expecting it to come. He brought a banded version last time and it did absolutely nothing against my team. Mega Medicham just picked it off in the end. So, if you haven't seen my team builder, you should check that out, but we'll just run through it really quickly here. So I've got a specially defensive Zapdos, almost the same as what I brought last time. Physically defensive Alolan Momola in the place of Ferrothorn. Excuse me. We're bringing a Dragon Dance, Yachi Berry, Zygarde 10%. We're bringing the exact same Mega Medicham set that I brought the first time. We're bringing a Scarf Chandelure over what I believe was Scolipede last time. or Cryogonal, sorry, last time. No, Swallow's over Cryogonal. Chandelure was maybe over, I can't remember what Chandelure was over. Togekiss, I think I brought Togekiss and Primeape. And Zygarde is over the Primeape. And then Swallow is a physically attacking Swallow, which I'm bringing over the, whatever I just said, the Cryogonal. I'm going to be ballsy. We both took a really long time to decide our leads on this match, and I initially had selected Zapdos, but because he was taking so long, I decided to change my mind too. I figured that if he was going to lead Mamoswine or Alolan Marowak, it was too risky for me to lead Zapdos, and if he did end up leading Electrode, which looks like a really good lead against my team in theory, I'd rather lead with Zygarde 10 and bluff the Scarf, because I don't think he's going to be Scarf Electrode against my team. I think he can feel free to run a boosting item and run Modest against my team, because he can. He can run a certain level of Modest, like he can speed creep through Modest to speed creep over Swallow. And maybe what he sees is that Zygarde is Scarfed. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he sees that Zygarde's Banded and Chandelure's Scarfed. We'll see. But I am just going to leave my Zygarde, as he is going to lead with his Electrode, which is a really good matchup for me. So I'm just going to click 1,000 Arrows, and I guess he thought I might switch or something on the HP Ice. I'm not entirely sure what he thought there. Or maybe he was judging what I was. But in comes the Celesteela, and that is offensive Celesteela. Wow. And this thing's going to die to another 1,000 Arrows. So there's no point in me not clicking it here, and I can still bluff the Scarf or the Band or whatever, as he's going to go into Whimsicott, and this actually takes a ton of damage as well, and we do not see leftovers, so that's really good for me. I'm just going to go into my Zapdos, which is my Spadef Wall. We can tank the Moonblast that's incoming. I thought about going into my Swallow, which can tank the Moonblast and then Revenge Kill with Brave Bird, but I knew he was going to switch after the Brave Bird, and I didn't think it was worth me just like basically sacking my Swallow essentially to the Moonblast plus Brave Bird recoil at this point. So Zapdos is in. Zapdos is now, as I'm going to click a move of some kind, or I'm going to double. I'm actually going to double into my Swallow. Yes, there we go. And I got my Flame Orb up for free, basically. I thought he might go for... I don't know what I thought he might go for. I really wasn't sure what Whimsicott can do to my team, honestly, so I figured the Swallow was kind of a safe switch in at that point. Swallow, on paper, kind of just absolutely bodied his team, but he didn't end up bringing a lot of the stuff that it bodied. Like, it could outspeed Dodrio and destroy it, it could destroy the Golbat, destroy the Araquanid, destroyed Hydreigon, it destroyed Hitmonlee. None of those came. So, physically attacking Swallow isn't looking that great against his team, because we basically can't touch the Celesteela. Mamoswine can just Ice Shard us. Electrode outspeeds. Espeon, if it's Scarf, can do a lot. We haven't decided what the Espeon was. He brought Scarf last time? I want to say it was Scarfed last time. I think it's Scarfed for a reason? I can't remember why, but I remember being Scarfed last time. Maybe because he expects my Primeape to be Scarfed. I did bring Scarf Primeape against him last time, and it kind of threatens the Espeon a little bit with U-turn. Knockoff, etc., etc. But now I'm in on Swallow against Alolan Marowak. I'm just going to click U-turn, as he actually switches into Electrode, which is really good for me. I get a good chunk of damage off on that Electrode. I actually didn't calc to see what kind of Electrode that was and like how much bulk he had, but I'm assuming he's got a lot of bulk on this set because, again, he outspeeds my entire team. But I can just go into Zydago here and bluff the Scarf again. Again, I'm Yachi Berry, so I know I can eat an HP Ice if this thing has it. I'm just going to click Extreme Speed this turn, because if he does go for the HP Ice, I can just E-Speed him twice and take this thing out, and it's potentially a roll on the Whimsicott for 2 E-Speeds to kill it if that's a switch in, which it is indeed. So there's the E-Speed, and it's unfortunately not a big enough roll for me to take out the Whimsicott on the next turn. So I am going to switch back to my Zapdos here, as he's going to go to Mamoswine, which is a... Sorry, I actually make the ballsy switch, and I go into Chandelure, not the Zapdos, on what I thought was the Moonblast, because I can tank it really well. Chandelure is a really good win con for my team this time, because I can safely click Shadow Ball against everything. He didn't bring Dodrio, so Shadow Ball is a really good win con. I'm unfortunately Scarfed, and I can't take out this Mamoswine, so I'm actually expecting him to go for Earthquake or Rocks. One of those two options makes sense to me. Earthquake would absolutely destroy my Chandelure, and my team is relatively weak to Rocks this week with Zapdos, Shandy, and Swallow, so I think Rocks might be a priority for him. I'm just going to go to my Zapdos predicting both of those, because it doesn't... Sorry, I go into Aloe predicting something. Physical move, taking the Earthquake. I should have just gone into Zapdos, honestly. but it's fine. This time I'm going to go for the Scald, as it does quite a bit to that Celestial, again, confirming that it's offensive. Now we'll go into my Zapdos to scout if this thing's specially offensive or physically offensive, as he Flame Charges, and I get the Static Paralysis. I've been paralyzing people in this entire league, and I'm not going to stop until my playoff run is over. There's no reason for me to stop, honestly, because people just can't deal with the paralysis. I'm really sorry, Jet, that happened, but 30% isn't necessarily hacks. I would say that it's not necessarily hacks at 30%, but there's various definitions. Anyways, the speed from Flame Charge does not matter whatsoever anymore because I paralyzed this thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go for the Defog here because it's pretty free, and I don't think he can kill me with anything. So he's actually going to use his Z move, and I think my calc was wrong, and I was calcing on the wrong Pokemon because he did tell me this was Z Air Slash after the game, but it looked like Z Acrobatics on my calc. Like, it looked like Air Slash would do a lot more, but I'm pretty sure I was calcing with Alomomola instead of Zapdos, because that makes sense that that's Z Air Slash now against my special wall, as I'm just going to roost up on this next turn and get some free health. He basically can't do anything as he HP ices. We can see that that's HP ice, likely for the Zygarde, I would think. This turn, I'm just going to take out the Celesteela because he's very obviously just sacking this thing. It pretty much does nothing against my team now that it's paralyzed. It loses to Chandelure, loses to Mega Medicham, loses to Zygarde, and it loses to Zapdos. So he's definitely just sacking this thing off, as I'm just going to take it out with the Discharge this turn. Again, very offensive, so it did not live that Discharge by any means. In comes the Alolan Marowak, which kind of threatens me, as I can just go into my Alomomola as that Rock Slide comes off, and we see that that's not Thick Club. So I'm not sure what to think yet, because it's only showed us one move, but the fact that it has rock coverage, I'm thinking it might be Assault Vest to tank Zapdos, I guess? I wasn't... Maybe Togekiss too. Rock Slide's like good coverage against my team because it can take on Scolipede, it can take on Togekiss, take on Zapdos. With Rock Slide, it can take on all those really well. It can take on the Chandelure potentially, even though he'd probably want to run Shadow Bone for that. So I wasn't sure what to think. I was fairly certain it was Assault Vest at the time, or it definitely wasn't Thick Club. And I know it can't be Z because Celesteela used Z, unless he ran double Z, and so then it's not an item. We don't know if it's leftovers or not, actually. I shouldn't be saying that, but it's not a boosting item for sure. This turn, I can freely Scald. There's no reason for me not to Scald as Electro comes in. Oh my god, I fucking Toxic. Okay, well, I'm talking over myself, but I Toxic'd because I felt there was no way he's bringing in Espeon. There's no way he's bringing in Espeon, and I thought he would go Whimsicott, actually, where the Toxic would be really good. Scald would have actually been the better play against the Electrode, but I thought he was going Whimsicott. Oh, I didn't even think about this. Boom Burst can't hit Soundproof, so Electrode's even better against my team if I was Special Swallow. Holy shit. I did not think about that. That's actually excellent. That's really good prep on Jed's part. All the props in the world to Jed, honestly. Especially if you're watching this, Jed. That's, like, fantastic prep. I actually just totally missed that was the thing. This turn, I'm going to click Protect because I have no reason not to, and it stalls out a turn of Toxic on the Electrode, which could be useful damage. Taking down another 12% as he just goes Whimsicott, which is really bad for me, actually. That was a really good play on his part. I'm assuming he thought that I was going to click Protect, or he thought I might double into Zygarde on the Electrode, which also makes a little bit of sense. Except I'm still trying to bluff that it's banded or scarfed at this point. Alomomola in on Whimsicott is not good, so I go into Zapdos here. No, I don't. I go into Swellow. What am I doing? That Giga Drain does not that much, but I'm running minus Spit F nature? I can't remember. Swallow maybe just has really bad Spit F. When I was calculating the Moonblast, I was like, why do I die? Excuse me. I can safely click Facade here, I think. I don't think Alolan Marowak would be his switch into the Swellow. Now that he's seen that I'm physical, he dies to 2 Brave Birds, so I don't think he switches it in. So I'm thinking I click Facade, because it kind of just hits everything better, and it'll kill the Electrode if the Electrode's switching in on a Brave Bird. I know I always forget about Facade on Physical Swallow. I don't know if he did or not, but I'm going to click the Facade as he goes into his Mamoswine, which turns out to be Rocky Helmet. So this is his physical wall. I didn't expect that at all. Quick Attack looks like a roll from here. Based on that damage, this is max HP, max attack in my mind, because it shows that it doesn't necessarily have defensive investment. So I'm not sure what the exact role on this quick attack was, but the quick attack is a role, as I'm just going to go for the quick attack here. Take it out. Kind of unfortunate that I'm taking so much Rocky Helmet damage plus burn damage, but Swallow is basically worthless at this point, and I took out his Ice Shard user, so he can't pop my Yachi Berry on that against my Zygarde, which means it's even safer to be in on the Electrode. The fact that he took a long time for this, actually, and the fact that he brings in Espeon here kind of tells me it's Scarfed, except for the fact that he took a long time. I wasn't sure if he was debating a move, calcing, or if he like really just didn't have an answer to Swallow, and I kind of just won at that point. But I clicked U-turn, as we do find out that he is Scarfed with the Psychic. Swallow would naturally outspeed Espeon, so that, and I speed crept Whimsicott, so I know that I should have been faster than this Espeon by all means, the less it was Scarfed. So we know this is Scarfed, and he's locked into Psychic. He's not doing anything to my Chandelure. Chandelure comes in here, and it basically claims a kill, as he's going to sack his Electrode to the Shadow Ball. Pretty safe play on his part, to be honest, as Alolan Marowak comes out here. If this thing is max HP, max Spadef, I cannot kill it. And again, I'm under the impression this is Assault Vest, so I'm going into my Alomomola. It's a very safe switch for me. As Bone Moraine comes off here, surprised Shadow Bone didn't come off, but the Bone Moraine crits and it does nothing. Alomomola is like a huge physical wall. Yeah, I think this turn it's safe for me to click Scald, because I think it's more likely now that Espeon could come in on the Toxic, and I don't want it being magic bounced back onto me, or even synchronized onto me, honestly. Like, statusing an Espeon is really dangerous. So I'm going to click the Scald, which is my best play to hit the Marowak as he goes to Whimsicott. And unfortunately for him, I also get another 30% chance with the burn. I'm going to click Protect here to get up to full HP, which literally doesn't matter because I'm a Regenerator anyways, but I'm just stalling out some turns of burn damage on him because we haven't seen leftovers. Now I can safely go into my Zapdos and tank whatever special move he wants to go for. Giga Drain's pretty free. I think I decide to click Discharge here, and we find out, yeah, I do. And we find out that this is Marowak's Lightning Rod, so that leads me to believe, again, that it's Assault Vest to take on my Zapdos and such. I can go back into my Alomomola. Is this the turn he makes the read? No, he goes for Thunder Punch this turn, which does absolutely nothing. Again, no Thick Club. Whimsicott comes out on my Scald again, so it's taking more chip damage, and then I'm going to Protect again to give it more burn damage yet again. As we see the Shadow Ball. So the Shadow Ball threatens my Chandelure, sort of coming in on the Grass move or the Fairy move, and that was a really good prep on his part, actually. Being able to catch my Chandelure basically unawares. I think he might have thought that I was going into it there. It was probably his best play to actually just click Giga Drain when he's this far behind, but making the ballsy prediction there, either for Mega Medicham or Chandelure coming in, like, it basically covered everything, because Shadow Ball hit my whole team neutrally. Except for these two super effectively. Now that Swallow's dead, he can just click Shadow Ball, basically. Just like Dodrio not coming, I can basically click Shadow Ball. Now I'm going back into my Zapdos, as I think he makes the read and goes Alolan Marowak this turn? No, he goes for Giga Drain. I'm going to click Toxic, thinking Alolan Marowak comes in on my Discharge again, but he's sacking off the Whimsicott once again. Gets the crit Moonblast, doesn't matter one bit. As I'm actually just going to Roost this turn as he Giga Drains and gets a little bit of HP back, so he can live 2 turns of burn now. And this turn he's going to Encore me and kill himself to burn. Yeah, so there's the Encore into Roost as he dies to burn. And he's going to go into Espeon, which can't touch me. Crits me with the Shadow Ball. I'm not sure how much it matters. Gets the Spadef drop, which is really unfortunate. I know I can still take these even at -1 because I'm so bulky and this thing's scarfed in. Encore ends here as he Shadow Balls me again. I'm still taking these, except he gets the -2 now. His Discharge comes off and crits. I can go into... No, sorry, he goes into Alolan Marowak as I actually double into my Zygarde. Because he was scarfed, I could tank 2 Shadow Balls and an Extreme Speed killed from that range. So now he's in Alolan Marowak on Zygarde 10%. I made a really aggressive double there, but it was a safe double on my part. As now Alolan Marowak's out. 1,000 Arrows bodies this thing, depending on what set he is, as it just comes off, and yeah, Bone Moraine, even critting me, does nothing. There were a lot of crits this game from mostly his side, but we got at least 1 crit on our side. Like, that's pretty significant, I think. The fact that I've seen, I seem to remember at least 4 crits in this game. Anyways, I'm still gonna bluff that I'm banded. I don't really care at this point. I actually can't hit him with anything else besides Thousand Arrows. And then when Espeon comes in and he thinks he can get a kill, I'm gonna speed it. That's basically all there is to it. So I bluffed that I was banded / scarfed until the until the last turn, and we end up winning the game 5-0. I think this was a very dominant performance compared to last time. I think last time our game was a lot closer, and I sort of had him on the edge with Stealth Rocks the entire time. But I felt like the last game was definitely a lot closer. This time, I think I identified my win cons a little bit better and played around it. Specifically, being able to get rid of the Electrode. And in prep, I had decided that Swellow was my win con, but looking at it, the team that he brought, Swellow did not really do anything except for check the Whimsicott offensively. Like, that was basically it. Really good game, honestly. Like, shoutouts to Jed because he played really well. I don't think that he played poorly by any means. I think he brought an interesting team, not the one that I was expecting by any means, and it caught me off guard for sure at the beginning. I wish him all the best in the elimination bracket, and I hope that we don't have to play him again, because that's a potential possibility. If we lose our round 2 match, then we'll go down in the elimination round, and if Jed wins his first elimination round match, then we could potentially be playing him in 2 weeks. So I'm scared about that, especially because we're both posting videos, and Austin posted, or is posting his commentating with friends, where he's got both of our sets in there, and blah, 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 blah. So our sets are leaked. I can't necessarily bring the exact same team, and it's always scary as the winner because the loser technically has the advantage because they know what to prep for a little bit better. So I better come up with a good third rendition of this team is basically what I'm saying. Anyways, that's all from me, and I will catch you guys for Playoffs Round 2. We don't know our opponent yet, but it will be either Shiny Krabby, the Naganadel trainer, or Arnaud, who was our divisional opponent, and we've already beaten twice, so I would imagine he has the advantage against us yet again, because we've beaten him twice with 2 different strategies, and now he can come up with a third strategy to potentially beat us. So I will see you guys for Playoffs Round 2, and that is all from me.